Friday, not our normal day, but here we are, November 21st, 2025. Can you believe it? We are less than a week away from Thanksgiving, from Black Friday, if you still do that. I'm sure the Black Friday sales have started weeks ago now, right? That's how they do it.
Yeah. It's like the whole fucking month.
Yeah. I remember when it started creeping into Thanksgiving night and being like, what? This is not real Black Friday. And then, it just went from that to November 1st is Black Friday. Say, okay. But to each their own. Whatever makes you happy. But we're here, answering questions, talking Dynasty, trades, all that fun stuff. Kind of keep it open. We will get to start sit stuff as well. If you guys are here and you have any of that. But trying to focus a little bit on Dynasty. And we just try and do this every couple of weeks or so. Hit that like button for us. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about today was actually it came up last night and we talked quite a bit about it, but just the idea of quarterbacks, quarterbacks in general I think are a pretty fascinating topic overall for Dynasty and Superflex in particular, because naturally we compare position to position, right? Oh, this person's QB 22 and you're comparing him to his peers, which is fine. But it doesn't account for sometimes what's the difference between starting a quarterback in a super flex spot versus, starting, this wide receiver or this running back. Also the scarcity of quarterbacks. There's literally only 32 that are guaranteed to take starting snaps each and every week, where, you're going to get 100 plus running back, 100 plus wide receivers, 60, 70 running backs and stuff like that each week. So, and kind of just evaluating the guys we talked about yesterday, JJ McCarthy, Cam Ward, Bryce Young, Michael Penix, those type of quarterbacks there. And what do we do with these guys? What are you comfortable trading those guys for? And let's just pretend we're in the off season. It's March or April and you want to make a trade and stuff. And what are we moving? What do you feel comfortable moving off of? Because I find those guys really, really hard to value. And you can keep going, even the Tuas of the world. And, Tyler Shuck maybe is going to be in that category here soon. We'll see. And stuff like that. What do you feel comfortable with? Because I never feel comfortable getting rid of even a guy like Tua for just a first round pick. Where are you at with those? Not particularly your takes on those players, but your philosophy when it comes to starting quarterbacks and guys that are going to be starting for the next several years.
Yeah, so it is kind of it is the dilemma, right? Like you said, not even a first for Tua. I think that's totally fair. Just given most likely he's going to start for at least one more year, and even through this year, because if you're trading him to a team who needs the quarterback, right? That means that pick is more likely going to be later. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration there. And I know we've said this before, you got to think about it, a guy like Tua or someone in that kind of category, in that range, it's you have to be able to replace them. And so getting a single pick for that is not really going to work, Mm-hmm. So I think a good strategy, I think you're really good at this too, is because sometimes people don't want to give those multiple picks, and it's well, get an underperforming, highly touted rookie from this last draft, or even maybe 2 drafts ago, or throwing in injured players. And I mean, there's so many ways to go about it. I think Cam Ward is a perfect kind of example of this too, right? Where it's well, you just spent probably a top 3 pick, top 4 pick on him this last year, and you haven't seen a whole lot of encouraging signs from him. So who are you trading him to and what for, like he's more for rebuilders, obviously, because of the age and the production's not there. So guys that are contending don't necessarily want that. But are you just, sometimes you got to have conviction, right? In Dynasty, that's like one of the hardest things I think for people to have or to like figure out, where it's like, I really think this player's good just in a bad situation, or they're good or they're hurt. That one's easier to evaluate, right? So yeah, I don't know if that quite got to the gist of what you were getting at.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just so hard with I'm so nervous trading quarterbacks away in Superflex and not getting a quarterback back. Down tiering is what I like to do with quarterbacks, because I still get a quarterback in return and stuff like that. Just because, like, again, no one's excited about Tua. No one's excited about Bryce Young, Michael Penix this year, Geno Smith even. But, like, you start comparing them, like, okay, who are you going to be putting in your super flex spot over them? Like, Geno Smith is better than Jalen Warren this year, than Quinshon Judkins, than Travion Henderson, Kenneth Walker. Like, he's a top 20 running back, Geno Smith is. This year, he's been better than receivers like T. Higgins, Stephon Diggs, Zay Flowers. Like, he's been essentially like a low-end RB2 wide receiver 2. And that's what you have to, like, compare him to, not necessarily, he's QB 22, So I just think it's like it's fascinating when it comes to quarterbacks and like what to do with them and stuff like that. Like, I do think it's too early for guys, obviously, like Ward, even Penix, Bryce, not so much Bryce Young, but JJ McCarthy. Bryce Young, we have a few years now, so we can kind of make, what you believe in him. But, like, man, there's not 32 quarterbacks in the NFL each and every week to play real football, And so, like, these guys are going to have jobs for long, long, long time, They're going to be relevant for a long time. So,
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think something you said there is really important that I didn't bother to mention. Like, yeah, like you definitely always want to try and get a quarterback back, even if it is just a Tyler Shuck or a Cam Ward kind of a thing, right? Like, to at least have like an opportunity to try and get a startable quarterback out of that. And then you were kind of asking about, like what's the value of starting, a low end QB2 or even a QB3, a guy outside the top 24 quarterbacks in that super flex spot. Like, it's huge, right? Because it's so much easier for most quarterbacks to outscore who you'd be flexing anyways, because you're starting all your good guys already. So you kind of have to look at them as, depending on like the size of your league, like if it's a standard like 2 flex with a super flex, it's like, so you're starting already, potentially 4 running backs, or 5 wide receivers. Like you got like 10 positional guys in a lot of leagues, or 8 positional guys, including your first quarterback. And who, depending on your depth, like who are you starting in that last spot? And usually, I mean, we saw it play out last night, right? Like, who the hell really wanted to start Davis Mills against Buffalo? And if you did, it really paid off. I had to in one league. And I'm really glad that I did, because I was definitely kind of like, do I start? I don't even remember who my choice was between. It was like him or like Quentin Johnston or something like that. And it's like, you could just see the path to getting that 20 points on your roster so much easier with a quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, Davis Mills, this is not even including yesterday. And then we'll get to some of these, Brendan and Marv. We'll get to what you guys are saying here, but not even including yesterday, Davis Mills from weeks 9, 10, and 11. We're in week 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So weeks 9, 10, and 11,
you forgot that yesterday too.
I know. I
Not
can't
forgot,
keep track
but like,
of it.
yeah.
Did he even start in week 9 now? I'm looking at it. Like I think that's the game he came in for.
Yeah, he started the 3 last games, so he played half of the one on week 9.
Yeah. Some reason Fantasy Pros isn't showing. I think they don't show the week 12 and stuff. But anyways, just those 3 weeks, like he's averaging 17.1 points, Davis Mills. Over that same period of time, that would be in PPR RB 12. That's better than Derrick Henry and Genty and James Cook and Josh Jacobs. Significantly better than those guys.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, that would be in that same period of time, wide receiver 12 as well. Better than Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Mecca Ibuka, Stephon Diggs. Like that's why the quarterback position, I think, is weirdly undervalued in Superflex until like you don't have a quarterback. That's kind of what it takes.
Yeah. And sometimes not even then, like when, guys go down for essentially the season, like what we thought was happening with Joe Burrow. And it's like, Jake Browning got shit on a lot, even after stepping into that first game where Burrow got hurt and putting up a 20-point game. I think those were 4-point per passing touchdown numbers you were just giving, by the way, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always think in terms of 12. But, I mean, a good way to think about it is, to finish my thought on Browning. It's like no one really even wanted to, like, trade for him. They're like, he's not worth it. I'll give you a third. And I'm like, well, he's essentially the starting quarterback for Cincinnati at this time. Obviously, it was a good move not to do that, but that's all hindsight, right? But what I was going to say regarding quarterbacks also is think about how happy you are when any of your positional players gets a touchdown, right? Like just one touchdown in a game, obviously yardage and everything, but like you're automatically kind of like already like, okay, they're not killing me this week because they probably already got 8 points with the catch or whatever. Right. And think about how even bad quarterbacks will usually get at least one touchdown in a given game, so there you go. Like it kind of, it kind of translates in that way.
Yeah. And I don't want to say like you shouldn't compare quarterbacks to each other because you should as well. Like there is a difference between, starting obviously Josh Allen and Davis Mills each and every week. The replacement value there is going to favor Josh Allen incredibly, but like, yeah, when you're trying to figure out who you're sticking into your Superflex league, you need to kind of look at it in that sense. So Brendan's talking about looking to rebuild or retool. How do you thread that fine line of getting rid of players, adding points to your max points for versus keeping some pieces for the future, such as players like Rashad and Wandale? Yeah, I think it's a good question of like, if you play in this format, which we do in our listener leagues, it's kind of the anti-tanking format in a way. But essentially it takes, what would be, if you started the perfect roster each and every week, how many points would you have scored? And so essentially if you want to, kind of tank, you need to get rid of players. You need to make your team bad. You need to be starting, you want zeros essentially on your bench. And so, yeah, I don't know though, personally, if I don't think I undersell players just to get them off my team. Like obviously you're not doing it just to get off your team, but I don't really factor that in too much unless it's like a guy that like, maybe an Aaron Rodgers or a Flacco where it's like, I think this is potentially the last year, and I need to get something for him. Plus I'm getting points off my team so I can undersell a little bit, but guys like Wandale, Rashad White, like these are players that you could be starting next year. And you don't necessarily want to undervalue them a little bit, so I would still want to get appropriate value for them, even if it's the difference of me getting the first pick or getting the second overall pick instead of the first overall pick, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty good. Like the distinction between guys like Rodgers or even older players, like, Devontae Adams or Stephon Diggs is another good example. Guys that are really putting up points, and this could be like, it might not be their last year necessarily, but that old adage, father time being undefeated, right? Even Derrick Henry, it's like those guys are easier to sell. I think those older vets who are really producing. just because they are valuable, right? And you do want to get guys like that off your team in a rebuild. I think those are kind of easier ones. Guys like Rashad White and Wandale, like good ways to try and like move them is ask for later picks. Like don't ask necessarily for next year second, ask for 3 years from now second, if you can go that far. Like a lot of our leagues, we can trade out to 2028. Like maybe that's more valuable, than the third. Maybe you can squeeze the fourth because, I mean, I don't know. Some people are super in love with their picks, and honestly, like fourths aren't really making anything happen, So that's one way. Trading for injured players is a great way to do it too. Like start targeting those guys who might have like a red shirt year as a rookie is another good example. Trade for the guys that were drafted in, late in the second, sometime in the third or fourth round that you actually feel good about. And then, kind of go from there and try and get, that third round pick thrown on top of it. And, Rashad White is a good example. It was tough because Bucky never actually went on IR, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really know how long he was going to miss. Like if you would have said, Bucky's going to miss 8 weeks, then, it's a lot easier sell to like, all right, well, you want the starting running back for Tampa Bay, like a good offense for 8 weeks, like we don't have that hindsight. Sorry, my cat's probably about ready to jump in the frame right now.
That's fine.
But yeah, so targeting that manager who has Bucky with the Rashad White trade might be a little more palatable too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw that in our league where, Cass kind of said he overpaid for Algier because he has Bijan and stuff. So I will say though, again, we play in deeper leagues, 12 teams, start 12. Fourth round picks are a lot more valuable in those type of formats. I'm just looking back at
definitely
the fourth round in a couple of our listener leagues. And this one, we had Alec Eilmanor, who's been guaranteed. He's been plugged into people's starting lineups this year. Ollie Gordon, Dylan Gabriel, Woody Marks, Torrey Horton. Those guys are in these types of leagues. Like they're starting on teams during bye weeks and stuff like that. Tesla, Rashard Smith, like that's like over half of the fourth round there. Let's see the other league here. We had again Alec Eilmanor, Shador Sanders, Pat Bryant, Gunnar Helm can be plugged into a tight end premium league. Ollie Gordon, Tesla, Gadsden, Dylan Gabriel. So, you obviously get a lot more in these deeper leagues. So, he kind of mentioned that he panicked, sold Dowdle for a third and Isaiah Bond. And I guess my question is like, when did you make that trade? Like, did you do it after his first blow up game or his first 2 blow up games? Because I don't necessarily hate it. Like, I always like making those kinds of trades where like you get a pick and then like a dart throw type of player, especially in these deeper leagues that you can see potentially a path for them playing and stuff like that. Isaiah Bond has been out there playing. He just hasn't really been doing anything. Did you do it after the first couple of weeks? Because I don't think it's a terrible move. Like, I don't think anyone expected Dowdle to take over this job and kind of be like a top 12 running back this year. I just don't think we expected that. So
definitely not after they just paid Chuba also.
Yeah.
That was a huge part of it, but injury creates opportunity for sure.
And,
I mean, go ahead.
And it played out how we expected to, because remember when even after Dowdle had his 2 blow-up games, Chuba came back and played the majority of the snaps and had more carries, I'm pretty sure. So like it worked out how we predicted. It's just that Chuba did not take advantage of, he had his shot. He played, I want to say the next 2 games, week 7 and week 8, he played 53 and 57% of the snaps. He had the opportunity to get his job back, and he did not get it because Dowdle was just better. So, you can't beat yourself up too much for that type of stuff. That's those type of things are unpredictable, but your process was correct. right? And like, I'm going to sell Dowdle because when Chuba comes back, I think Chuba's going to have this job. And it all played out that way. It's just that Chuba didn't take advantage of it. So, you made the right process. It wasn't, did the outcome turn out? No. I always use the example of like, just because you drive drunk and make it home doesn't make it a good decision. Like you can't base a decision off the outcome and the result. Like you base it off of, what you were doing or the situation when you made that decision. So, and he did it after that one massive week he had. So I don't think that was a terrible move. I really don't. I traded Chuba Hubbard for like a 3rd round pick a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he took over for, I think Miles Sanders or something got hurt. And I was like, oh, here's Chuba Hubbard. He's a depth piece for the next 4 weeks or whatever is kind of how I viewed him. And, didn't turn out that way, of course.
Yeah. And this kind of plays back into our quarterback discussion a little bit, but I traded away Achane to basically move up into the 1st round after his first year where he was awesome. And I was kind of like, yeah, but he's little. And is this sustainable? Like I didn't think Raheem Mostert was necessarily going to stay there that year. That was the year he had 17 touchdowns or whatever on the Dolphins. And it was just kind of like, I think I'm just going to like sell high on Achane more or less. And that was to move up to get one of the quarterbacks, and it turned out to be J.J. McCarthy because the other 3 guys were gone, Caleb and Daniels. And yeah, anyways, it was just kind of like the thought process, like my conviction turned out to be incorrect, but there was like consideration for like what the likeliness of something like that repeating and stuff. So yeah, you're going to make bad trades, I mean, the idea is to win like long-term, 2 or 3 years from now, win 60+% of your trades. And then hopefully that's how you can get up and over that hump.
Yeah. Kenneth Walker, a hold, think he's just as hype as Brees Hall. Yeah, I definitely think Walker's a hold. Like he's on his, I think he's a free agent, right? Coming up. So
yeah.
And so like I could absolutely see him have a second contract type of career, maybe like a little bit like a Marshawn Lynch did. That's just one who comes to mind. I think Lynch was traded during his rookie contract, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a solid hold unless an opportunity really comes up to get more than fair value, or not more than fair value. Just honestly, like if Charbonnet goes down, you're okay to sell him because that's when he's going to be valuable again, this year, I mean. But yeah, no, I think he's a good player for sure. Just it's not really playing out in his favor this year. But I mean, there was some people who had Walker over Brees Hall that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know it wasn't like popular consensus or anything, but they were like the de facto 1A, 1B guys, maybe more like 1A, 1C or something. Because definitely in the minority, like maybe 20% of people liked Ken Walker more. And we've seen that play out in actual NFL, that he's been definitely startable to good, So I think he's going to get another contract, another opportunity somewhere else, or still on the Seahawks, which might be one of the worst things for him, honestly. But
yeah, I mean, he's still putting up a pretty productive season. Like he's still going to have almost 1,300 total yards this year. Over 1,000 rushing and over 200 receiving yards, which is pretty impressive considering, he's going to carry the ball less than 250 times and he's going to have less than 275 touches. So, he's basically going to put up 1,300 yards on like 250 touches or so, which is really good. Just shows you like his potential and stuff. So, I do think he's a hold. I just don't think anyone's really excited about him. You're not going to get appropriate value for him. And I think he's potentially a buy low. Like if you can kind of buy low on him before free agency hits. What's interesting though is like Kenneth Walker's still RB21 on keep trade cut. Like he's not losing a whole lot of value. Like does he deserve that? I don't know, but like he's still kind of holding that low end RB2 value there.
Rico Dowdle moved in front of him, which that's a mistake.
Yeah, but potentially, I mean,
in my opinion,
I don't know. Would you take like? It's like one of those things though. Like if Rico helps you win your championship this year, then it's not like a mistake, right?
No, I know, but I'm just saying like this is on keep trade cut. So I know that the rankings get very wonky in season. I mean, not entirely. Like they get a lot closer to redraft values, I would say. But I mean, you still got Scattaboo up at 16, RJ Harvey, who hasn't done anything as RB 17, but it's like, I mean, that might be, I don't know if you can actually get that done, maybe, but I mean, trading Rico Dowdle for Kenneth Walker straight up, like if you want to win this year, you probably should make that trade, honestly, but you're selling low on Walker, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, I do think he's a hold. What do you think of Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen long term? I was always more of an Isaiah Davis fan than Braylon Allen. It's tough with that team. I don't know. Neither of those guys are from that, coaching regime and stuff. So do they try and replace their running back room? Possibly. So, I mean, they're definitely holds for now because they're handcuffs at this point. But yeah, it's really tough to know for sure. I personally like Isaiah Davis a little bit more though. Hawkinson, DK, 2 mid 27 seconds, or do you take Jaden Higgins in the 26 first? So this was the trade yesterday. A little bit different though, I think. Hawkinson, Metcalf, in 2 mid 27 seconds, and a mid 26 first for Jaden Higgins.
I don't remember the 2:27 seconds being in there.
No, I think it was a third.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little too much. Don't you think? Like, I mean, a mid 26 first, like you're probably not getting that for DK alone at this point. But, in reality, he's worth a late first, like just in general. Obviously he's not playing up to what we were hoping for with Aaron Rodgers and everything, but I mean, he's still, a wide receiver too, essentially. Not necessarily in Dynasty, I'm saying, but in actuality.
Yeah, I don't think he's worth a late first in like shallower leagues.
No, I mean, it definitely depends on. I'm just everything I'm gonna say is just based on 12 team start 10, I guess, kind of like mid team or mid depth, I guess. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't like the 2 seconds being on there. Also, what do you think?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit too much, unless it's like a super shallow league, which it might be. I think it's a start 8 is what Marv said last time.
Yeah, I think you did say
last
that.
night. Yeah, it's just, I mean, what's the outlook for Metcalf? Like, we thought he was going to smash this year. He's been one of the biggest disappointments in my mind of what I thought he was going to do. He's wide receiver 26 overall. He's wide receiver 31 in points per game. He's probably going to lose his quarterback next year. They're going to win. They're obviously winning enough games where they're not going to have a top pick. Who do they bring in to be the quarterback for this team? And I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot of questions. You got Daniel Jones as a free agent, Russell Wilson, Mariota, like
Go back to Rex.
Flacco. Yeah, right. Like I don't know. It's just like what do we expect from Metcalf? But I do think it's probably slightly too much there, Marv. If it was a 1 second, I would do it. If it was obviously that third, I would do it. Maybe even a second and a third, I'd probably still do it. I think it is a non-tight end premium league as well. So
yeah,
I don't think you should add anything.
I wouldn't
though. So yeah,
it's kind of an interesting package to be sending. Just because like no one's excited about Hawkinson right now, so especially in a start 8 and DK's like borderline there, right? So it's like I wonder who you're actually trading him to. He's saying it's a mid first, most likely. So
yeah,
I don't know. On paper, without knowing like full context of the league, I don't really like it. Mostly because of like adding the 2 seconds.
Yeah. Charbonnet is also a free agent. If he stays in Seattle, is Charbonnet already a free agent? I don't think he is.
No, well, he was the year after Ken Walker.
Yeah.
And Ken Walker's in his 4th year right now.
So he's still got one more year.
Yeah, he's still got one more.
With Charbonnet. So is it time for me to jump ship on Brees as a contender this year? See if I can get an older, more productive running back. It depends on who you're getting. Like I would really want one of the best. I would want a McCaffrey. I know you're not going to get straight up there most likely, but a McCaffrey, Jacobs, if you consider him old, Saquon, if you want to take a shot on him, like Derrick Henry. I would want one of those guys if I'm going to move on from Brees. Like those are really the only old guys that I would kind of do like straight up on a contender. Even then, I'd be a little bit hesitant. I mean, Brees has been not as good as we thought, but he's still been a top 20 guy this year. So there's not going to be many guys better than Brees. And plus, you still have, the youth part of it. He's still, are we going to be shocked if Brees goes on and has a monster 3 years after the Jets? No one's going to be shocked about that. He's going to be, I think he's going to be a very sought after kind of player. He's a free agent. So,
yeah,
I would really need to get one of those like league winning running backs if I'm doing that move.
I know the outlook's not good for the rest of the year. Just given like where he's playing and everything, but yeah, I totally echo everything that you said. Like, I mean, he is in half PPR, he's running back 14, points per game, he's closer to 18. But I can't look through this list that quickly to see if anyone doesn't belong. Like they only played a couple of games. Like, I mean, like Hampton and Scattaboo are up there. So a little bit more limited sample size. Yeah, Bucky, that's a good one. I skipped right past him. So, like I don't think he's like killing your team, but you just got to temper expectations. So definitely only sell him for what I would consider fair value. So ask me. No, just the way I said that sounded weird.
Yeah, I mean, he's still only 25 and a half years old. Like he feels like way older, but he's a year older than Bijan, than Gibbs. He's not even half a year younger than Achan or older than Achan. Like he's still really young, man. Like, and yeah, I mean, he's gonna get a lot of money in free agency. I can already see it. And he could absolutely smash next year, if he gets on the right team with the right system. So we know he's good. It's just things just haven't lined up for him for whatever reason. Injuries / quarterback play and stuff like that, So, I would need those league-winning veteran guys to move on from him.
Yeah, and what you just said there, that's like the sentiment that I was trying to get after earlier, where you said he's good, so just because he's not producing right now, AJ Brown, perfect example of that. He's good. It's just not working out right now, So, and he's not terribly, terribly old. Like, he's getting up there. AJ Brown is, but those are the kinds of guys those are like the actual kind of like buy lows, right? Like guys that you've seen it from before, more than like a flash in the pan, like a stretch of 5 games or, one season in their third year, which is possible for sure. But I was thinking, I guess more like, a guy's played 3 years and his second year was kind of the outlier. It's like, well, maybe that was a little more situational than purely talent based, and that stuff's hard to evaluate. Sometimes you just don't know. Like a guy like Javonte, like that's a guy who's really hard to evaluate, right? Because we've seen him for multiple years and, hyped everything, injuries, like there's like an asterisk next to every freaking season, basically. Rookie season, awesome, injured, like, yeah, it's just kind of like, it's all over the place.
Yeah. And to Marv's point, like Walker can outperform Javonte. Yeah. I mean, if Walker was on the Cowboys, he'd be awesome. He'd be better than Javonte, in my opinion. But
get them both.
So, yeah, possibly. But yeah, I mean, he's not there, and that it's holding him back. So, thoughts on Wandale with Dart out? My options are Greg Dortch, Tracy, or grab waivers like Booty, Leggett, or Burden. He does say that Dortch put up 30 in my league last week because we count return yards. But Tracy also has been pretty decent because we are heavy on the PPR. What is the return yard type of bonus there? Because that could, lend yourself to go for Dortch. I don't know if looks like he's doing kick and punt returns. He's had 5 last week, 3 the week before. Total returns, that is 5. So he's getting pretty consistent return yardage. So if you're getting like straight up 10 yards is 1 point, I might just go Dortch because he's probably going to give you, I mean, geez, he could give you easily over 100 return yards plus whatever he does on the field. So,
man, I didn't realize I must have missed that part about Dortch. I did see that he had a special teams touchdown, right? Last week.
No, you had a receiving touchdown.
Oh, okay. There was someone that had a special teams touchdown, not necessarily on there, but I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I was like, first touchdown, because it said like 1 ST TD, and I was like, you get points for that? Like, now I'm just looking in my leagues right now, like, oh, I get punt returns and points in this for Dortch. But he was already rostered before last week, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I would go Dortch if you get just like one for one there points. 10 yards is 1 point. If not, I'm fine with Tracy. Yeah, I'm fine with Tracy over those other guys. So, but yeah, finding a new team. Yeah, Chiefs Cowboys are going to be the big one. Like, for Breece Hall, for Kenneth Walker, those are the two big free agent running backs there. I mean, ETN's also. It's actually a pretty good running back free agency group. Javonte, ETN, Dowdle, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. Then you have some other names there like J.K. Dobbins, Jerome Ford, if you want to throw him in there. Kenneth Gainwell is in there if you want to put him in there. But those top guys, that's a pretty nice running back free agency class. I mean, hell, even Najee if you want to throw Najee in there. So
Titans need somebody.
Titans, yeah, Chiefs, Cowboys,
Houston.
you know, maybe Houston, yeah. You know, do like a team like the Lions look to get younger there, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of options.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
I gotta let the cat inside. She's trying to figure out how to open the door.
So yeah, looking kind of at some other things here. I had something else and now I forgot what it was with the wide receivers that I wanted to talk about. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, what about so you know, it's kind of the same thing with like veteran wide receivers too. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot easier to buy into like veteran running backs than wide receivers for whatever reason. But what's your roster there? I don't know how to say your name. Can? I don't want to call you a can, but
call him Jick. No, I don't know.
Or Lub.
Yeah.
Call him Lub.
Yeah. Throw your team up. It's really hard to say what moves to make, like as far as like who to trade for without context of your league, but throw your roster up and I mean, you might already know like kind of where you're weakest, but we can let you know what we think.
Yeah. I was looking at also with tight ends, like, man, it just seems like such an easy position to buy low on as well. Like Theo Johnson was one that comes to mind. I feel like I was telling everyone to buy low on him on like every video that I made throughout the off season. Just because it's like, look, the guy's like, he's playing a bunch. You know, you go look at his rookie year before he got hurt. It's like the guy was literally playing like 90% of the snaps, and the Giants made no moves for you to go out and get him. So I feel like because rookie tight ends and even second-year tight ends can be so bad, like just taking advantage and buying low on them. You know, Elijah Arroyo, if you can do that this year, Terrence Ferguson for the Rams, if you can do that, Gunnar Helm for the Titans, like I guarantee you one or two or all three of those guys are going to be relevant next year, and you can probably get them incredibly cheap. I think that's about it. I mean, there's Mitchell Evans, but not super excited about him necessarily. So, you know, just because, these rookie tight ends can be so bad.
Terrence Ferguson?
Yeah, I had him in there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I said Royo, Ferguson, Gunnar Helm. I mean, Mason Taylor as well, but he's top. He's tight end 13 here, so he's kind of being valued appropriately, I think.
What do you think about Michael Mayer going to another team?
Yeah, I mean, he's still under contract, right?
Yeah, he might be actually.
For another season. Let's see here.
Yeah, he's in his third, so he's got one more.
The tight end free agency is interesting. Yeah, Kelsey, Andrews. I mean, I can't imagine Kelsey goes anywhere but Kansas City.
No.
But Andrews and Njoku, Goddard, Pitts. So some interesting names there for tight end free agencies.
I was going to say Isaiah Likely too, but I think they actually did extend him before the season started.
Says he's on here as a free agent.
Okay, maybe it was just rumors. That's what I was trying to remember. Like it was like they're going to extend him, and they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a free agent as well. So, yeah. people are gonna, even Ben Sinnott, right? Does he have a buy low window here? Like, I think we've all forgotten about him, but he was, a lot of people liked him as the best tight end, one of the best tight ends in that draft class. I'm going to pull up. I don't even remember who was in that draft class exactly, but
Eric
so
All.
2024. It was the 2024 draft class. So, let's see here. We got okay, so that was the Bowers. So obviously he wasn't better than Bowers, but yeah, he was he was like the number 2 tight end because it was him, and then there was Tip Raymond, who's more of a blocking guy, Jatavian Sanders, Theo Johnson, Eric Hall, AJ Barner, Cade Stover. So
yeah, so I feel like Eric All and Cade Stover. It's tough because Eric All hasn't even really played. Only 9 games last year. He started off on the PUP. I don't know if he had an injury history in college, but Stover, kind of the same deal for this year, so like we haven't really, I remember getting a lot of those guys in like the 4th round, maybe even 3rd round of tight end premium leagues during last year's draft. And obviously that hasn't done anything for me, but I mean, you can literally get those guys for free, like as like a throw-in. Like you can even just be like, this actually kind of plays back into like a little bit of trade strategy in general. Like just tell whoever you're trading, like if you're trading straight up like players for and getting picks from somebody, tell the other team to just give you whoever they're going to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, even if you're not like picking guys specifically, but these are guys you can probably pick specifically. It's like, hey, whoever you're going to drop, like I'm giving you, X player for your 2nd round pick, give me a player back and just say it's for roster balance, because there's a good chance that player is better than whoever's on waivers anyways. And if you don't like them, you drop them. I remember doing that with Dad. I think I made a trade with him last year, and I was like, well, I'm going to send you Treylon Burks because that's who I'm going to drop anyways. And he was like, I don't even fucking want him. I'm like, well, just you drop him then, or just, it doesn't matter who drops him, but if he's going to be dropped. But I think that's kind of like a good little thing to do too.
Well, yeah, and in some leagues you have to, like, stupid MFL, like, doesn't let you make a trade if you puts you over the roster limit. It's so stupid.
It's kind of funny because if you're the one going over the roster limit, you can't propose the trade, but the other team can propose the trade that will put you over the roster limit.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it depends on who's making the trade because you can trade to go over. It's a settings thing.
Yeah. By the way, Eric Hall was he was notoriously injured in college. So always been super talented and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and just he couldn't stay healthy, Michigan and Iowa and stuff. So he's a 10-man Superflex PPR contending. Hurts, Goff, Darnold, Bryce is still really good.
Yeah, no complaint.
Gibbs, Javante, Rico, Genti, Brees, Vidal, Hampton's really nice.
Yep.
Amon-Ra, Puka, Rashi, Marvin, Harrison, Burden, Downs, Franklin. Yeah, McBride and Pitts. I'm stacked, but I honestly want to condense. How many starters?
Yeah, that's the big part, right? I would say if it's a 3 receiver with 2 flex, obviously you have some running backs you can flex in there, but it is PPR. Maybe condensing that wide receiver 4. Like you can still get really good value. I don't even have specific guys in mind necessarily, but you should be able to get significant value for Marvin Harrison and Franklin or something. Okay, so 2.
So is the 3 is one of those flexes the super flex, or is it 3 and then a super flex? So basically he's starting, let's just say Hurts and Goff, whatever, your QB2 is there. Gibbs is in there. Rico's in there at this point, probably as your RB2. Amon-Ra, Puka. 3 flex and then a super flex. Okay. Amon-Ra, Puka are in there. So your three flexes are each week are probably Rashi, Javante, Genty, Marvin Harrison. Like you're deciding between like, Marvin Harrison, Brees. That's basically it right now, right? Javante, Marvin Harrison, Brees is who you're deciding between, I guess, right?
Would you trade Genty and something for Bijan?
Yeah, I mean, I'd do like Genty and Luther Burden or something. I wouldn't go too crazy though.
Yeah, I was thinking. I thought you might cue in on Burden, but I mean, you might be able to just make that straight up. I mean, if you're trying to condense, obviously you're trying to get a superstar, right? So you need to look at these guys who were on these lower teams, But I mean, Genty for plus something for Bijan, might be a decent move because Bijan's not going away. Like he's still relatively young and like don't look too far in the future. Like I don't know what their age difference is. But it's got to be a few years, but I don't really care about that because
I think.
Oh shit, Bijan's only 23.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I try and look like a little more like a guy that you can like use for the next 2 or 3 years, which obviously Bijan is definitely that. I thought he was going to be closer to 25. Sometimes these players, I need to pay more attention to how old they are when they come in,
Yeah, I'm fine with like also getting like a McCaffrey, Henry, one of those guys too. Like trading, like we talked about, like trading a Brees Hall and Burden or Franklin or something, and getting a CMC, a Derrick Henry, a Saquon. So I'm fine with doing that. Obviously, if you can get a stud and a guy that's going to be good beyond this year, that's like ideal. But those are obviously a lot harder to get. So I'd be looking to consolidate potentially like a Brees, and I assume if you're getting a veteran player, it's on a team that's underperforming, so they're going to want future pieces. So they're probably not going to want Rico too much, or Javante's not going to be super attractive to them. Guys like Burden, Franklin, Brees are, and so maybe you package a couple of those guys and go out and get a stud like that.
Would you do Brees for Derrick Henry straight up?
For this team, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you can do Brees, again, look at the teams that are at the bottom of the barrel who are actually trying to move guys like these, like, because we don't know who's on these teams. But, if they do have a McCaffrey or a Henry, what I would do, if one of the lower tier teams, which it's kind of like the double-edged sword, right? It's got to be the perfect situation where the rest of their team just sucks. Because guys like McCaffrey are helping those teams win, or at least stay in contention. But if you can swing a McCaffrey for Brees, then yeah, definitely do that. And then immediately go to the Brian Robinson owner, manager, whatever, and trade your second away for Brian Robinson. And then you basically should have that relatively locked as your RB2.
Yeah. I would do that, Brees. This is the type of trade or team that I would make that trade for. So, and it's a big risk. It's not even guaranteed that Derrick Henry's better than Brees rest of the season. So, ideally, I'd want maybe someone more like Josh Jacobs feels like a good one to go out and get, because if he's on a team that's not doing well, he's going to be 28 next year. Maybe people are feeling like, what is Josh Jacobs? So like they might be more attracted by a couple young players and stuff. And I think Jacobs could be good for the next couple of years. So would you do on a contending team, Cam Scattaboo and 2 seconds for Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, I think so. If that's what it took to get it done. I feel like you could get him for less. I think you could probably get, and maybe not though. I mean, feel it out. Start with 1 second, If they say
Someone
they
sent
want
me
more,
that trade. That's why I'm
oh,
asking.
okay.
I'm on. I'm
Yeah.
contending. I think I'm basically a lock to make the playoffs. I got May, Henry, Henderson, Justin Jefferson, JSN, Tyler Warren, Worthy, Genty, Mahomes, Bucky, but he hasn't been playing. So like my last like roster spot, I've been starting like Mac Hollins and Xavier Legette, guys like that. So guys that have been like at times doing it, but so someone sent me 26 and 27 second and Scattaboo for Jacobs. So I'm thinking about taking that.
That's like probably the most I'd want to pay. Not because I don't think he's worth it, but just like the optics on Scattaboo and stuff and how people feel about picks. It's probably not even worth a counter to like say, well, what if I gave you a third? I don't know. Because people, I mean, that offer was sent to you or you sent it? Oh, okay.
It was sent to me.
I don't know. I mean, it's always like kind of like a slippery slope, right? Like, do you counter with just 1 second? Because they probably started high for what they want, Josh Jacobs.
Maybe a second and a third or something.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to slip away with keeping one of those seconds, but I don't know. If you think it's fair, do it. Like, I think overall, it's kind of what you have to pay.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting to hear with Jacobs just some news, and it sounds like if he doesn't play this week, he's going to play Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that's kind of the feeling around it. So
limited practice again. Yeah, so.
Started Marks last night because of the matchup, but man, that Texans play calling with Chubb is frustrating. I have Judkins as my RB2. Not feeling great. Any idea what a flip for Aaron Jones being upgrade based on the schedule? Redraft, I assume, Captain Clutch. Yeah, well, Aaron Jones has been good this year, man, when he's played, right? Like, what has he been? Yeah, I mean, he's basically – he's giving you multiple catches almost every game. It is redraft. He's giving you a decent yardage total. So, like, he's going to give you a pretty solid floor. I don't know. Let's see here. What's the Browns' schedule? So they get Raiders, Niners, Titans, Bears, Bills, Steelers. I don't hate that schedule for the Browns. I think they can stay in a lot of those games, like potentially. What's the Vikings?
Is he talking? I thought he was talking about Marks flipping him for Aaron Jones. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I would probably in redraft take Aaron Jones over Marks. But they're very close, I would say. So I'm just, again, looking at their schedule. Texans get the no, he does mean flipping Judkins. I have JT as my RB1. I think I still lean Judkins. But again, it's all really close. So, like, if you felt strongly, I mean, we know what the fear for Judkins is. It's just game scripted out and the offense sucks, So I think I do lean Aaron Jones slightly because I think there's less of a risk. I think Aaron Jones is probably going to give you at least close to 10 points every single game, because he's going to catch 3 passes. So, whereas I don't know what his ceiling is. He's probably, I don't know if he's going to have big touchdown upside and stuff like that. So I think Jones is safer. I think there's more upside with Judkins. I don't know. Where do you lean on that?
Yeah, it is really tough, honestly. Like, they're close enough. Like, yeah, I mean, the roles are basically locked up, right? PPR, I feel like I'm not actually trading one for the other. I'm just kind of sticking with who I've got, I guess. But, I mean, PPR, probably Aaron Jones is the right call.
Yeah. again, I do think he's much safer. So,
Yeah,
um,
but he is talking about his RB2. I mean, when you got Taylor, you only need a half an RB for your RB2, right? So,
yeah. Although, watch the Colts, man. It's going to be interesting to see. Like, I think I would. Speaking of Dynasty, I think I would try and sell Daniel Jones. Like, if I have him on like even a contending team, but like depending on what he is for my team. But I'd be looking to shop Daniel Jones a little bit because like they got a brutal schedule to kind of end their season. Chiefs, Chiefs, Texans, Jags, Seahawks, Niners, Jags, and like even the Jags, I think have been pretty good against quarterbacks. I want to say. I'm gonna double check that.
um,
No, actually, they've given up a lot of points.
I was pulling up Daniel Jones right now, and I subconsciously wrote Janiel.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Jags have actually give up a decent, good. They're top 5 most points given up to quarterbacks. So he gets those twice. But look at what Sam Darnold. Like people were just like because Sam Darnold, even though he had a great year last year, because he had a bad last game of the season against the Lions and then bad playoff game, he lost the division, lost in the playoffs. People were just so out on Daniel Jones in Dynasty. People did not want to trade for him. Yeah, sorry, Sam Darnold. People did not want to trade for him and stuff like that. Like, I had a hard time. You know, I think I just got only a first for Darnold, and that was like a few weeks in to the season.
Yeah.
And so, like, people were out, and that could easily happen to Daniel Jones if he kind of tanks out. So,
yeah, for sure. And honestly, like, yeah, the first for Darnold is not necessarily like the best. But I think it's also important to kind of think about like, well, you had Sam Darnold on your bench essentially, and like you weren't even going in the year, like when even like he was a surprise. Oh, he's my third QB on my team, kind of a thing, you know. So you're kind of just like turning in the $10 lottery ticket for $10 kind of a thing at that point, you know. So
yeah,
not the most terrible thing.
Yeah. But I think that's gonna take us to the end here, guys. Appreciate everyone. We'll be back tomorrow.
I got one more thing to say. So I think I told you. So my daughter Lucy, her team is playing for the whole enchilada in volleyball tonight. Championship games. They haven't lost a single matchup all season. And I didn't show you this yet. Maybe you saw pictures of it, but we got a fat head made out of her. Oh wait, she's awesome. Kind of like reflecting. Yeah, well, you get the idea. It looks like she has a mustache. So we'll be out there rooting for her.
You got just one of those heads, or do you got them for the whole family?
No, we just got one. A bunch of her. Someone on the team, like one of the parents, was like, "Hey, I know someone with a print shop or something like that." I don't know the exact context, but they're like $25 if a bunch of us get them. And so we're like, yeah, we're doing that. So yeah, go Aztecs tonight. I'll let you guys know tomorrow how it goes. It's funny, like she doesn't even like the picture, and I think it's actually a pretty good picture of her. I mean, you know what she looks like in real life.
Yeah, you're at that age where when you see your head blown up, like you're always going to be a little like, what the hell?
I wouldn't even like that now. I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's just blowing up my head.
True. But yeah, we'll be looking forward to that update tomorrow. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. I believe 11 Eastern. We'll see, or 12 Eastern, I believe. We'll see. But yeah, appreciate everyone, and we will see you all tomorrow. See you.
Bye.